And Harley Quinn started clapping with a big smile excitedly, and she said, "Yay, our first hero squad, hooray!" And Waller said, "I think your girlfriend is a little crazy," and I frowned and I said with anger, "She's fine mentally, nothing is wrong with her, she's perfect just the way she is." And Waller said, "I heard about you and her inappropriate doctor-patient relationship," and I said, "It's none of your business." And Waller said, "I looked at your accomplishments, you're a genius, you graduated from Harvard University and MIT and you have a PhD, you are a certified doctor and heart surgeon, so it must have been very easy for you to win her heart." And I said, "Nothing like that is ever easy unless you believe in a thing called destiny, and I am all about destiny. Take Enchantress for example, I know how to kill her, isn't that right, Mr. Flag?" And he said, "You keep your damn mouth shut." And I laughed, and then I said, "You know what we need, go get it." And he said, "Don't give it to him." And I laughed and said, "I can get it anyway, but I want you to bring it to me willingly because you are going to need it. Get her heart, bring it to me, is that going to be a problem?" And Waller said, "No problem." And I said, "Good, how about you, Mr. Flag?" And he said, "Screw you, asshole." And I said back at you, "Junior, how is Rick Flag Sr. by the way?" And he said, "None of your business." And I said, "We are on the same side, Rick Flag, I've been around for a long time, your girlfriend will be fine, you need to trust me. I don't hurt innocent people." And then we went to pick up Killer Croc, Captain Boomerang, Slipknot, Katana and all the other members of the Suicide Squad were now with us on a helicopter, and I said, "So Katana, you have a magical sword, I know that your husband is trapped in that sword, I have an offer for you, I can bring him back as a human being, he can be alive again, I can do it." And Rick Flag asked Harley Quinn, "Can he really do that?" And she said, "Yes he can. He can really do it." And Rick Flag said, "Damn, that's useful." And Katana said, "Leave me alone, that's impossible." And I said, "Not for me, I am the sun god Rao the First, can help you, and I'm not a criminal, I'm Batman." And she said, "I've heard of you, but you just look like a man." And I said, "You shouldn't judge a book by its cover, I've done the impossible before." The same thing goes for everyone on this helicopter, you should never judge a book by its cover, especially people like Wayland over here. And he said, "Thanks man." And I said, "No problem, big guy." And I said, "When we are done here you will be free, that much I promise, and you will make it happen, Waller." And she said, "Damn it, fine, just try to keep them all in one place." And I said, "No need to worry, I will make sure they are all taken care of, especially my new friend Wayland." And Deadshot said, "I'm down with that, so let me get this straight, I help you all save the world, and then I come work for you if I survive here, and you will pay me well, I'm sure, since you're Bruce Wayne, and I think the rest of these jokers are working with us too." And I said, "Yes Deadshot, that's about right." And then finally the time came, and when we had Enchantress, Rick Flag betrayed me, and I said, "What the hell are you doing? She will destroy the world, you damn idiot, give me that." And he said, "No I can't, it will kill her." And I said, "No, don't give her that, no Rick, don't do it." And he gave her back her heart, and then I screamed and I said, "You are about to leave me no choice, Rick Flag, I might have to kill your girlfriend." And then I knocked out Enchantress and I said, "Come here Rick now." And I said, "Come here, give it to me." And I powered up a purple key blast and I said, "Give me her heart now or I destroy her forever, and this key blast will kill her, Rick, I promise you." And he said, "Okay," and he gave it to me, and then I crushed her heart and Rick Flag started crying and he said, "No, what have I done?" And I said, "Wow, you really are stupid, she's not dead, you idiot." And he said, "Wait, what?" And I said, "Come over here now, please look." And then the dry husk was moving, and then I used my powers to remove the husk, and I said, "See," and I said, "You exposed her to everyone." And I said, "Yeah, I got to say, Rick Flag, you're a lucky guy, okay, let's wrap it up." And then Waller walked up and I said, "A deal is a deal," and then in an instant I disarmed all the bombs in their necks, and she said, "Just keep them all in one place." And she said, "Bruce, make sure they don't kill any more innocent people or anything like that." And I said, "I'll try my best, but I can't guarantee everything." I said, "Come on guys," and they all said, "Amen, any place is better than here." And then Boomerang said, "I'm going with him." And she said, "Yeah, get the hell out of here." And then the Suicide came with me and settled in my tower, and Wayland said, "Oh hell yeah, look at this big ass apartment, and man, I got a giant shower and everything." And he said, "Oh hell yeah boss, whatever you need I'm there." And I said, "Hey man, just enjoy yourself for now, but yeah, you help me run security and collect money from people."